Hello and welcome back, my name is Sullosian and this is a new video in Skywanderers. So I felt kind of bad about having about a whole week between videos, and that's because there's been a lot of stuff happening, and overall I just decided to take a bit of a break away from Skywanderers because I've been playing it basically 20 hours every week since it came out at least. And I mean, while some people play games a lot more than that, for me that was still quite a lot of hours going to one game, and it was sort of driving me crazy building this new ship. I couldn't quite figure out how I wanted it to look, and then ended up just drawing some inspiration from a devian artist who was a Stargate fan as well, and he basically mixed the Asgard ships and the human ships of Earth, and they made some cool combinations. So I've decided to model the new capital ship after that, so we'll just fly on up here and we'll have a look. The right side is actually more incomplete than the left, well, the left over the right, sorry. So we'll just come over this side here and give you the general look of it. So basically it's a mix of the BC-304/Daedalus class ship mixed with Thor's Asgard ship. So you've got the pillars there at the back there, and then you've got front of the ship there, which is, well, I'm not really happy with the way that I've built this so far, so it's just sort of wire mesh guideline at the moment, but I will fix all that up. But I'll just sort of run you through everything that I've got planned for it at the moment, and just sort of give you a general idea of how things are going, and how progression will go. So overall we've got the main hangar bay and the main engineering all still there, all of that's still good and swell. The big main area where I was originally going to be storing another large ship in there ended up being just a tiny bit, by about 17 blocks too wide either side, too wide to be suitable for this ship. So I decided to get rid of that, and then what I will do is under these big armor panel plates here is I'll have big docking ports that extend out, making it possible to dock one under each wing nice and snug. So one under each of those will be able to fit the Sullosian Destroyer class ship, as well as many fighters and other smaller shuttles and ships. So this entire ship in itself has the large indoor fighter hangar bay in the middle there, which can launch fighters from these sort of pod hangar bays here. Hopefully you can get that general idea. And it's also got a shuttle docking area from underneath the wing, but I'm not so sure how that will work out. Might just have some big doors which are closed most of the time. But yeah, it's got the two different hangar bays there which connect to that one main hangar bay, and it's also got this hangar bay here under the uppermost armor hulled wing sort of thing. I guess that's the best way to put it. That will be another big hangar bay in there, and then in the other one as well, and then it will have multiple docking ports underneath it, suitable for lots of different ships in our fleet, which will allow for other ships to dock under the wings snugly and be launched in need of other ships being launched. Basically, for further plans, I intend for these Asgard pillars, we'll call them, to be shield generators. I'll link the picture of the inspiration for the ship I'm using in the description, so go check that out if you want a general idea of what it should look like in the end, with a bit of a twist on it from my building. But shields in these big sort of pillars here and generators in the middle, just to once we get the shields, we're going to need some serious shields on this thing. It's our capital ship, we don't want it to be falling easily, so shields basically lining that whole entire area. We don't know how they will work at this point, but hopefully they're sort of like the generators, how if you connect more of them together, the more powerful and the more protection the shields will offer. Now moving on to the engines, just sort of a rough idea for what I sort of had planned for them. I ended up joining these two separate engine pods here into one big engine, sort of circular middle one here. Originally the devian picture that I had been using was one thruster on either side of these two here, so it was two, and then one on either side of it, just there and there. So it ended up being 6 thrusters, and it looks really good in the picture and all, but I already had these engineering sort of things laid out, and I figured one bigger one in the middle, only slightly bigger, could look pretty cool. Now, because of the way engine thrusters work, so I'll just sort of place some for you. If you have one thruster like that, you're going to get, say, 10% thrust out of it. But if you have another one on top of it, then you're going to get the 20%. So the more and more that you stack like that and that, you're going to get 40%, etc. thrust. And it will boost the amount of thrust and all that, and also adds a nice sort of trail effect for it. So basically, with all these engines here, whilst you can't see it at the moment, there's several hundred of these thrusters going backwards into the actual engines. So we'll just try and fly back here. You can only see some here, but there's more here, and then there's more inside that tube there as well, I believe. And we'll just try and clip through here. It's not really working. Sorry about that. Basically, there's freaking hundreds of them. There's lots and lots of thrusters. We should get a fair amount of thrust and overall top acceleration speed from this ship, being quite high and at a pretty good rate. So engineering hasn't changed at all yet. Sorry about that. I would like to work more on the internals very soon. I just need to get a general idea of the way things are going to be shaped. Otherwise, it will just be more and more difficult in the long run to get the outer hull to look what we want it to look like. In terms of missiles, this one will have, of course, a very large missile array on the top, just the same as the Sullosian destroyer ship. So the picture and the image that I'm basing this ship off has about 20 missile tubes here on top, as well as another 20 below, so that way I can launch a swarm from below and from above. I'm thinking I'll have some on top and I'll have some large cannons on the bottom, but basically what I'll demonstrate now, I basically decided to copy over the engines over there, do a bit of editing on them, and I decided what I want would be a cool sort of best way to put it is like the Stargate Atlantis drones that get launched from Stargate Atlantis itself, and they actually get launched out of the spaceship city, and like swarms of just bright lights just fly out of a tube and just all launch and attack and swarm the other enemy ships. So once we get tracking missiles, which I'm hoping will be soon, then we'll actually get a chance to see what it could be like to launch hundreds of guided missiles all like circling and swarming out of this tube, all launching and just devastating the enemy ships. So I'm hoping to have some nice big sort of cannon menacing swarm missile weapons just here. So I plan to put in a fair bit of logic work into that, and that should hopefully be pretty cool in the long run. But basically for the moment it's just a copy of that there, and I decided to put them down and I edited them out, got rid of all the engines in here, which surprisingly took quite a while because there's quite a few engine blocks in them. But that's just a general idea. As for colour scheme, of course we'll be going with the dark grey / black with white for interiors mainly, and I can't really decide between an orange glow effect or if we want to go for a blue glow effect. The image that you should hopefully look at is mostly blue, but the orange does look quite good as well. As for the bridge, in the image there is a bridge just up there at the back, which I think I'll include, but for the main bridge I believe I want it to be right here. There will be windows along here, and basically you'll just sit in here and you'll be able to view massive amounts of your fleet just by sitting here in your captain's chair, looking around. Just get rid of the engine, sorry. And then you can just look around throughout all the windows and have a look at your fleet from a nice, very open view bridge. Now, some might argue it's not the most strategic of positions, but I think it's pretty good for what it is. So yes, I do hope that you go and have a look at that image that I will link in the description. It's a very good devian art, and overall I think that I will start basing a bunch of the ships off some of those artworks, because they are so good and they just sort of fit the whole style that I like going for. So hopefully you like that. Just quickly, whilst I'm here, I did actually do a bit more work on the Vipers. I made a third version. Just see if I can find that. Should be down the bottom, sorry. Sullosian Viper 3.5, this should be it. Just have a look at it. Very similar, except it has, instead of just having these two thrusters and then the 1-2 on the bottom there, it's got 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2 there. And then I've done a lot of sneaky sort of block placement overall hidden inside of it, so that way it balances out the overall generators, and so it doesn't overheat automatically. So very similar in every way basically. It's got some hidden missile launchers actually. I'll just get in and we'll have a look. So just here, if we go into controlling it, we'll actually just press hotkey 1, which opens up the missile launchers there, and then pressing 2 will fire them, and they look pretty awesome. But at the time of this video, there is actually some further updates coming out in the game, so I'll do a video hopefully tomorrow just showing off some of those actual updates and what it all means for ships that we've already constructed and all that sort of stuff. So stay tuned for that one, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.